Amigos, welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting English extravaganza. You guessed it, the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. And right now, hold on to your hats because it's time for liftoff. Let's go.
9, 8,
Buckle
7,
up, folks.
6, 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
0.
Here we go.
Ignition.
Yeehaw!
Lift off. 30 minutes after the hour.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. And get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio. Come on, get up. Let's go. Welcome, show with no namers. It's time for another exciting edition. Thank you for joining me on this wacky English show where we learn English from music, movies, pop culture, and always with a little dash of humor to make sure you are enjoying the process. Learning doesn't have to be a chore. Why should it be a chore? We should enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, you'll keep coming back for more. It's one of those positive addictions. Hey, we're all addicted to something. Smartphones, cigarettes, whatever. You might as well be addicted to something that enriches you. Something like language learning. But I know I don't have to tell you, folks. You know it. You show it every single day here on the show with no name. So keep up the great work. Also, remember, today we're going to be hearing from some of our students. A nice round of applause for Anix, Crisvalrol, Nuria, Turani, and Alfonso. They've all participated in our question of the week. And today we're taking a look at a hot topic. Un tema candente, I think you say. AI. What are the pros and cons of AI? We'll hear from you later today. Don't forget to participate in our question of the week every week. In fact, it's a perfect way to improve your speaking, to get rid of that stage fright that sometimes paralyzes us. If you want to get ready for next week's question of the week, it's real simple. What is your favorite indoor activity? That's right, we'll be taking a look at your favorite indoor activity with the winter coming. Well, I want to know what you like to do indoors. Remember, if you'd like to participate, you can send me a 1-minute voice note. You can record it on your phone, and you can send it to my email address, aalonso@grupovon.com. And I think I can speak on behalf of all of us. We look forward to hearing from you. All right, amigos, let's rock and roll with today's first section. It's a listening exercise. It's also an exercise in learning how to sum things up. I wish most people knew how to sum things up in their own language. You know what time it is. It's time for the Say What soundbite. Say what? What? Yes. All right, folks, you know how this works. You're going to hear all kinds of accents, all kinds of cadences, all kinds of situations, like life. Today, I think it's going to be an easy one, especially since we've looked at Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, I even have trouble understanding what he says. And I'm a native speaker. Or the guys from Oasis, man, with that Mancunian accent. And let's not even mention a Scottish accent. Man, we don't even sound like we're speaking the same language. But that's the beauty of it. So many people speak English all around the world with all different accents, dialects, and we need to train our ear so that we can understand them all. And when I say we, again, myself included, I remember when we were in Gran Canaria, it was in Tenerife. And we met an English couple from Birmingham. That's where Ozzy's from, by the way. And my mother, she speaks English, she lives in the United States. She told me, I said, oh, those people are really nice that we met. And she goes, yeah, there's just one problem. I can't understand them. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. So it just goes to show, even native speakers, we don't all speak the same language, you know? Yeah, we know what we mean, but not everybody else knows what we mean. All right, well, I'll tell you a little bit about today's Say What soundbite. This guy, he does a sort of what we call deadpan style. Now, deadpan means like when you make a joke, but there's no emotion. It reminds me of The Naked Gun. You remember Leslie Nielsen or him as the doctor in Airplane? We looked at that movie yesterday, and we looked at The Naked Gun 2.5. That kind of poker-faced humor. We call it deadpan, okay? And this guy, I think, is one of the kings, or I should say was. I'll give you a little clue. He was one of the kings of this kind of humor, deadpan humor. But he no longer is, so may he rest in peace. I'm a big fan of this guy's work. But as always, I want you to listen carefully. I'm going to play it for you 4 times throughout the show, once in each part of the show. And all you have to do is listen carefully, sum it up in your own words, and then hopefully by the end of the show, somebody will be able to get it all word for word. As I said, comparing it to ones we've seen in the past, I think this one on a scale of 1 to 10 should be about like a 3 or a 4. So I expect you guys to do really well today. Are you ready? Here's your Say What soundbite for the first time.
A Labor Department task force says it will crack down on sweatshops in New York's Chinatown, where employees work 90-hour weeks for as little as 75 cents an hour. A spokesman for the sweatshop owner said, quote, that's all we can afford to pay. This is a sweatshop. We make sweat.
Alberto, estoy leyendo un cómic y me estoy dando cuenta de que todas las onomatopeyas que salen son verbos en inglés.
Of course, man. We love making it easy.
Por ejemplo, aquí pone chomp y está un animal masticando.
Sure, to chomp.
Es mascar, ¿no?
Sí, mascar. Y lo haces con tus piños. Your chompers.
Ah, chompers es los piños grandotes, ¿no? Vale, y to click, por ejemplo.
To click. Well, to click is what you do on a computer. You click. Pinchar.
Perfecto, pinchas con el ratón. Claro, tiene sentido. To gulp.
Well, before I was gulping my soda. Gulp, 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 gulp.
Claro, estás tragando como un pato.
Eso es, no es lo mismo que sip.
Bien. To thump.
Thump. Don't thump your fist on the table. No des un pum, pum en la mesa.
De hecho, el conejito de Bambi se llamaba Thumper.
Eso es, todo tiene sentido en inglés.
Claro que sí, por eso hemos hecho el tercer libro de This Book is the Milk, que se llama This Book is the Shit. Este libro es la leche. Por Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender, y lo sabes.
And you know it. That's right, folks. If you don't have my latest book, This Book is the Shit, you are missing out. It's an awesome book, and it is the 5th in my collection. I've got 5 books now. I can't believe it. And they're all available at vontienda.com, or as we say, it's a little bit cliche, but we always say it, wherever fine books are sold. And folks, remember, we've got offices in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, Zaragoza. We're also in Las Tablas and Pozuelo. So please feel free to stop by. You can get a free level test. No strings attached. That's another marketing slogan that means without any commitments. You can get a free level test and an assessment. All you have to do is stop by, introduce yourself as a Vaughn Radio listener, tell them I sent you, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to receive you with open arms. Also, remember to follow us on social media, and this way you'll know about upcoming events such as our Vaughn Radio Trivia Night, which will be hosted by yours truly, un servidor, and that's going down on November 4th at 8 p.m. Now, for Spanish people, I'm going to tell you right now, 8 p.m. in Gidi land means 8, not 8:30. Okay? So when you get there at 8:30, and I've already started, I told you so. So get there. Let me tell this. Let's say this. It starts at 7:30, guys. Yeah, right. The trivia night starts at 7:30. And also, I'd love to chat with you. I'd love to shoot the breeze with you, estar de palique. But of course, once I get started, I can't. I'm too busy hosting the event. So get there early. We'll have a beer. We'll have a chat. My family's going to be there. Tons of friends are going to be there. Tons of students, fellow coworkers who are friends. So it is going to be a blast. And I can tell you right now, we are going to pack the place. So get there early just for that. So you got a good spot and you're ready to rock and roll. All right. That is the 4th of November. It's a Tuesday. It's at 7:30, wink, wink. And it's taking place at the Toast Tap Room located in Malasaña. I hope to see you all there. If you want more information, follow Grupo Vaughn on social media and you'll find the post with all the information. All right, well, we've got so much more to go. So let's kick off our second section. It's today's Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. That's right, folks. Welcome to our Pop Quiz. And as always, we take a look at one of the many materials that you can pick up at Vaughn Tienda or vaughntienda.com. Today, we're going to take a look at Essential English, which I think the title says exactly what it is. It's the English you need to know, the Essential English. You've got in this material grammar, common mistakes, phrasal verbs, and a plethora of other things you need to know. I guess that's why we call it Essential English. You can pick it up for $25.95. That's just under $26 at vaughntienda.com. In fact, if you'd like, I'll share the link with you here in the chat. And this way, it's just one click away. And for $25.95, you get a huge book full of that essential English and over 3 hours of audio. Because as you know, audio is so important in language learning. I can't just give you my book and say, here, good luck. Okay, well, how do I pronounce it now? Am I saying it right? Is this pronounced like this or like that? Because it's not like Spanish. Spanish is really easy when it comes to pronunciation. I think I tell you guys this story very often. I started teaching some English girls Spanish, and their level was 0, cero patatero, as you guys say in Spanish. And I taught them how to read in Spanish in less than 10 minutes. I swear to God. I said, every time you see that sound, it's ñ. And every time you see that sound, it's eh. And every time you see that sound, it's ah. And there are no exceptions. And that's Spanish. And they were able to pick up a newspaper and read it and sound good. Now, comprehension is a totally different story. They didn't understand everything, but they were able to read it. I could spend my life trying to teach you how to read things in English, but English is the language of exceptions. Now, the other side of that coin is your grammar in Spanish. Man, that is, it's a quagmire. I mean, it is a difficult, hubieses, hubieras. I mean, you have to use one verb, you have to learn 75 different words. I swear to God, condujéramos, condujésemos, condujera, condujeran. I don't even know all the forms of the verb. Let's put it that way. And I've been speaking your language for 47 years now, and I'm never going to master it. Hey, I'm working at it, but I've come to grips with it. To come to grips means to admit it. And I'm never going to get it because the grammar is really tough. Now, English grammar, and I think this is part of the success of English, is simple. If I want to use the word conducir in English, I need to know drive, drove, and driven. Well, drives, but that's just adding an S. So really 4 different words, and I really can learn how to use any verb. And in Spanish, well, how many verb tenses are there? 12? And then there are 6 people in each one, vosotros, ustedes. So 12 times 6, I mean, we're talking about hundreds of words just to use one verb. So as with everything in life, it has its pros and cons, but at least you know how to approach it, como enfocarlo. And this material is awesome. Now, as always, I want you to listen carefully because afterwards, I'm going to have a couple questions based on this audio from Essential English. Here it goes.
Pista 40.
Traveling by bus.
Parada del autobús.
Bus stop.
Subir a un autobús.
To get on a bus.
Quedarse en el autobús.
To stay on the bus.
Bajar de un autobús.
To get off a bus.
Hasta que.
Until.
Pulsar el botón.
To press the button.
Conductor de autobús.
Bus driver.
Precio del billete.
Bus fare.
Hi, excuse me, how do I get to the stadium?
The stadium. It's a bit far from here. Let me think. First, you need to take bus number 12.
Okay, bus number 12. Do you know where the nearest bus stop is?
Go down the street until you get to the cinema, then turn right and the bus stop is there. Get on the bus number 12 and stay on until you get to a church. That's where you need to get off.
All right, so I get off at the church. And then what do I do?
Then you need to go past the church and keep going until you get to the hospital. And when you get to the hospital, you need to get on bus number 4.
Okay, I've got it. And then where do I get off?
Then you need to stay on until you get to the market.
So I get off at the market, right?
That's it. The stadium is near the market. Get off at the market and then you just turn left and walk until you get to the stadium.
Okay, left and I'll get to the stadium. Perfect. Thanks a million.
Translation time.
1. Quédate en el autobús hasta que llegues al hospital.
Stay on the bus until you get to the hospital.
2. Súbete al autobús en el mercado.
Get on the bus at the market.
3. Quédate ahí hasta que llegues al estadio.
Stay on until you get to the stadium.
4. Bájate en el estadio.
Get off at the stadium.
5. Camina hasta que llegues al teatro.
Walk until you get to the theatre.
6. Pasa por delante de la iglesia y gira a la derecha.
Go past the church and turn right.
7. ¿Dónde me bajo?
Where do I get off?
8. ¿Dónde me subo?
Where do I get on?
9. ¿Qué hago?
What do I do?
10. ¿Cómo llego al estadio?
How do I get to the stadium?
11. No está lejos de aquí.
It's not far from here.
12. El mercado está cerca de la iglesia.
The market is near the church.
13. Así que me subo al autobús número 15, ¿no?
So I get on bus number 15, right?
14. Gira a la derecha y la parada del autobús está allí.
Turn right and the bus stop is there.
15. ¿Puedes pulsar el botón, por favor?
Can you press the button, please?
Aplica lo aprendido en otras situaciones. 1. ¿Qué digo?
What do I say?
2. ¿Dónde me siento?
Where do I sit?
3. ¿Cómo lo hago?
How do I do it?
4. ¿A quién pregunto?
Who do I ask?
5. Quédate aquí hasta que llegue el taxi.
Stay here until the taxi arrives.
Hey, honey, do you know when the next Vaughn Radio Trivia Night is?
Yeah, Daddy. It's on Tuesday, November 4th at 8 p.m. And you're hosting.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You're so forgetful, Daddy. What will you do without me?
You're absolutely right, honey. I am a bit absent-minded. Thanks for your help.
Don't mention it. Just mark your calendar. Tuesday, November 4th at 8 p.m. We'll meet you at the Toast Tap Room.
Okay, so let me make sure I've got it. Tuesday, November 4th at 8 p.m. at the Toast Tap Room, Calle San Vicente Ferrer, 33.
Yeah, you got it, Daddy. Be there or be square, amigos.
Excellent. Excellent, Smithers. All right, my amigos, I hope you enjoyed that little excerpt from Essential English, available at Vaughn Tienda. And we were looking at the bus there. Well, first things first, we don't say bus, we say bus. In fact, it reminds me of the expression, get on the bus, Gus, or an expression that I don't remember it when I was a kid, but it's used really often now, and it's to throw somebody under the bus. Now, this is not literal, but think about it. If you literally threw somebody under the bus, you betrayed them. You screwed them over, right? So to throw somebody under the bus. In fact, I just saw it yesterday. I was watching a series with my wife, and he said, I can't believe you threw him under the bus. And my wife said, throw him under the bus. I didn't see any bus. I'm like, it's an expression that means to sell somebody out. So a lot of cool expressions. Let's see what I want from you in today's pop quiz. The first one is the word billete, tarifa, precio, pasaje. We use it with the bus. We use it with the subway or the tube, if you're British, the taxis, right? It is the price you have to pay to go on something, okay? So this is tarifa, precio, pasaje, billete, okay? And I want you to use it in context, as always, because I don't want to just look at random words. I want to make sure you know how to use these words as well. Are you familiar with that word? We shall see. All right, the second one, and I know you guys use this all the time because, well, I've seen it. I've seen it all the time. I live in Spain, and that is ida y vuelta. That's, in fact, you know where I learned that? From Iberia's webpage. I learned it from Renfe. Why? Because it said ida y vuelta. And I said, oh, okay, so I guess based on where it is on the webpage, that means I'm not going to say it. You tell me, how do we say ida y vuelta? And again, use it in context because then I know you know what you're talking about. Okay. And the last one, there are many ways to express that something is nearby. Close, right? You can say close. You can say nearby, right? But you know me. I love idiomatic expressions because they make us sound more native. I love using them in Spanish. Every time I learn a new expression in Spanish, I take out my proverbial pen and I take a mental note because, well, I like impressing people. And in fact, it works. A lot of times I'll say something that's, as we call it here, totally native. And people will look at me and say, how did you know that expression? That's, you know, like, y entonces parió la abuela. You know, these expressions, that was one of my favorite ones. We looked at that one earlier this week. No tienes abuela. I remember when somebody told me that. I was like, yeah, I do. Well, okay, one of them's gone, but I still have one. And she's like, no, en serio, no tienes abuela. And I'm like, what is this guy talking about? And then I realized that was a totally native expression that means you're self-centered, that you think very highly of yourself. So those are the expressions I want you to know so you can go out there and impress people with your English. So number one, again, is el billete, el pasaje. The second one is ida y vuelta. And the third one is another way of saying that something is nearby or close by. We'll take a look at those answers and so much more when we come back from this commercial break. We're also going to take a look at our spelling bee. We're going to hear from our students in the question of the week. We've got Name That Movie, Name That Lyric, famous birthdays, and so much more. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. This is part 2 of today's show with no name. We've got tons of stuff to do today, and we're going to hear from your fellow students. We're going to hear from Anix. She never, ever misses our question of the week. Also, Chris Valrol, another student who is consistent. Nuria, another one. Turani, well, she doesn't always participate, but she told me, Alberto, I'm there every day listening to your show, even if I can't listen live. So, Turani, shout out to you. And Alfonso, the only guy with the guts to participate. Sorry, guys. It's true. I can, butter it up for you, sugarcoat it. But it's true. Alfonso is the only guy who participates in the question of the week. So the ladies have it. Can't believe it, guys. You're letting me down, I gotta say. But hey, I guess as I said, you don't need to practice your speaking. Awesome. Hats off to you. For the rest of us, you've got question of the week. And as I said, the people who participate every week, I can hear your progress. And I'm sure you can feel your progress. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I can. All right. We're going to be checking in with our students right now as well. I see we've got some people here in the chat room. Don't forget, after today's show, you can continue to learn English with Ale in Speaking with Confidence. So many great shows here on Vaughn Radio. And you can listen to them live. You can also listen to them on the Vaughn Radio app or wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, amigos, here's your Say What soundbite for the second time.
A Labor Department task force says it will crack down on sweatshops in New York's Chinatown, where employees work 90-hour weeks for as little as 75 cents an hour. A spokesman for the sweatshop owner said, quote, "That's all we can afford to pay. This is a sweatshop. We make sweat."
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit.
That's right, folks. This book is the shit, available at Vaughn Tienda. That's right, VaughnTienda.com. You can pick up a plethora of different materials to help you on your English journey. And remember, we've got courses. Yes, we do. We've got our master's course. We've got one-to-one courses. We've got Disney Vaughn English. And we've got something for everybody under the sun. All you've got to do is follow us on social media. All right, we've already listened to our Say What soundbite twice, so we're halfway there, to quote Bon Jovi. Oh yeah, you know the song? Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand and we'll make it, I swear. Oh, you know you love it. All right. Well, we are halfway there. We're going to hear it another 2 times. Let's see what our amigos had to say over here in our chat room. We've got Born to Iron Man checking in. What's up, Born to Iron Man? He says, how are you doing, guys? Doing well, or as we say, all good in the hood, amigo. There's Chris Valrol. She says, morning, folks. Ready to have a blast. Well, I'll tell you something. The moment I read your names, so am I. So am I. The feeling is mutual, or as we say, ditto. Do you say idem? Ditto, we say. D-I-T-T-O. Lo mismo te digo, or likewise. Likewise. All right, there's Grace participating in our Say What soundbite, and she says, I heard an American man, correct? So far, you've been doing really well with the accents, Grace. We had a couple days where you were a little bit off, but you're back. You are back. She says, I heard an American man. I didn't get the gist of it. No pille el hilo. And she says, I'd say he mentions crack down. Absolutely. To crack down is to get more serious about something, you know, to start to punish people for something. The example I always used, and it reminds me because when I moved to Spain, you were still allowed to smoke in many places, which is horrible as a non-smoker. You know, as a non-smoker, sorry, guys, you can smoke, but nobody wants to breathe your secondhand smoke. You get what I'm saying? So I remember people smoking on the metro and on the platforms and in bars and everywhere. I mean, everywhere you went, someone was smoking and blowing smoke in your face. And then they started to crack down. Okay. And to crack down, to start, another way to say it is to crack the whip. Con el látigo, ponerse serio, ¿no? Ya no tolerarlo tanto. To crack down. Excellent. Good. Well, Chris, you got one of the key words in there. So she says, I'd say he mentions crack down, employers, 19 hours a week, and something about affording to pay you and to make you sweat. That could mean working hard. All right, well, let me tell you something. I'll give you a clue since you got, well, first, a nice round of applause because you did get the gist of it. What if I told you that a sweatshop is where Reebok and Nike make their sneakers? Taller clandestino. Taller de explotación laboral. Okay, it's where Zara makes their clothes. I don't know. I'm where a lot of big companies outsource. Apple, where Apple makes their phones in sweatshops. Okay, they're made in China, and a company called Foxconn, which has suicide nets. Oh, wow. Enjoy your iPhone, folks. Enjoy it. And we call that a sweatshop. Okay, because, well, they make money off the sweat of others. That's a good way to I don't know if that's the real reason, but it does make sense. So, Chris, you're on the right track. All right, let's see. She also is participating in the pop quiz, and she says, the round trip train ticket to Madrid on the AVE, the high-speed train, is cheaper if you book it months in advance. Great. The ticket, it's not the word I'm looking for, but it is correct. It is correct. Okay. The round trip. So round trip, ida nada más is one way. I bought a one-way ticket or a round trip. Now, the British call it a return ticket. Just so you know, they understand round trip, but they normally call it, did you buy a return ticket? Okay, we call it round trip. Makes sense. Es un viaje redondo. Te vas y vuelves, right? So the round trip train ticket to Madrid on the high-speed train. I would say high-speed train because most Americans won't know that AVE means high-speed train. And by the way, we don't have high-speed trains in my country. Yeah, we have big highways that you can land a 747 on, but we don't have high-speed trains. I think the fastest train is the one that goes from New York to Washington, D.C., and it's nowhere near 300 kilometers per hour, which is what the AVE, the Spanish high-speed trains, go. Let's see. And she says, if you book it months in advance, I think that's the same for everything. A lot of times, our summer vacation down in Almeria, I book it in January when the prices, the airlines are giving away tickets. Lo están regalando because they can't sell tickets in January because nobody has any money left from the holidays, right? So usually I get some round trip tickets to Almeria for cheaper than what the train would cost because, well, it's, you can't always book in advance and things happen. In fact, this summer, I didn't end up returning on my round trip ticket. My mother-in-law passed away while we were there. So I didn't even end up using it. So you do risk not being able to use it. But of course, if you get something in advance, you will save a couple bucks. And the last one, Chris says, if Madrid were just a stone's throw away, I'd walk there. Wild horses, Chris. Wild horses. You know that expression? Well, it's a Rolling Stones song. Wild, wild horses couldn't drag me away. O sea, ni caballos salvajes me podrían separar de lo que me apetece, de lo que yo quiero, de ti, de, whatever the thing is. So we say wild horses, and right away, it means nada me va a frenar. Wild horses. And I believe you, Chris, and I know you too. You're a healthy person. And you know the importance of walking. All right, let's see. Born to Iron Man, another health nut, somebody who has always, well, since I've known you, been a healthy guy. And he says, how much is the bus fare? Excellent. Yeah, the word fare. Now, it's a homophone because it sounds like the word feria, fair, right? What is the fare to get into the book fair? Okay, la primera es F-A-R-E y la segunda es F-A-I-R, pero suenan exactamente igual. So, fare. Kyle, mira el ejemplo que ponen aquí in word reference. Kyle paid his fare and got out of the taxi. So the fare is la tarifa, precio, pasaje. The taxi driver went out looking for a fare, un pasajero. Okay. Also, we use it to talk about food and drink. That restaurant has good fare. Okay. It has relatively good fare. Comida, alimentos. Okay. So again, it sounds exactly like F-A-I-R, but it's spelled F-A-R-E. And you'll see it a lot if you're traveling, when you're doing sightseeing. Okay, so how much is the bus fare? Excellent. The next one, I'd buy a round trip ticket to San Francisco. Lo compraría. Oh man, me too. Take me with you. If you're going to San Francisco, buy me a ticket too. I'm in like Flynn. And the last one, Born to Iron Man, says, don't worry. The travel agency is right around the corner. Excellent. You say the same thing in Spanish, a la vuelta a la esquina. Okay? So it's right around the corner. It's a stone's throw. Esas son iguales que en español, ¿no? A tiro de piedra. Don't you say that? Right? A tiro de piedra. A la vuelta a la esquina. All right, I'm going to put you to the test with another one. There's one that is totally, absolutely, extremely native. And I'll give you a clue. It has the word jump in it. Anybody know it? We're going to up the ante over here with a bonus question. All right. So this is, again, another way to say something is close. And it uses the word jump in it. I know we've looked at it here on the show. We must have looked at it at some point. All right. Let's see. Chris says, I think it's 90 hours a week. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because a sweatshop, 19 hours a week, that's not even part-time, right? No es ni media jornada. So yeah. If it's now given the context that a sweatshop is a place where they take advantage of workers and pay them a measly amount of money, mísero, right? Measly amount of money, muy poco. Well, then it sounds more right based on the context, like it should be 90 hours a week. Great. Okay. And she says, I missed the sentence with fare. Well, you said the train ticket, but you can say the train fare as well. That's why I said yours was correct, but I wanted to see if you guys knew that word fare. And fair enough, you know it. Fair enough. Fair enough is an expression that we use, and it means me parece bien, me parece justo. Alberto, what if I pick you up at 7 today? Fair enough. Me parece bien. Fair enough. All right, let's see. Born to Iron Man, knocking it out of the park. It's a hop, skip, and a jump away. So a hop es un saltito, como like a bunny does. A bunny hops, right? A skip is what you do when you're, you know, I think of Little Red Riding Hood, Caperucita, skipping through the woods, and a jump, un salto. O sea, los tres son saltos, pero diferentes. A hop is like a little jump. Whoop, whoop. Think of a bunny. Hop, hop, hop. A skip is what you're running and jumping. You know, you're kind of walking and jumping. And a jump is un salto de toda la vida. O sea, en tres saltitos has llegado. It's a hop, skip, and a jump away. Excellent job. Wow. All right, folks, but we've got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's move on to today's news report.
Yeehaw! This is the news report on the show with no name, bringing you the latest breaking news. I'm Alberto Alonso, reporting live.
All right, welcome to our news report here on the show with no name. Today, we are going to take a look at something that is par for the course. You know this expression. That's right. You know it. We hear it every show when I play the "This book is the shit" ad. It's par for the course. Pues lo deberías saber. O sea, en cada anuncio de esos, creo que hay 10 expresiones. So you should have those down pat. All right, well, par for the course comes from golf. And it means, another way to say it, it comes with the territory. It's lo que tiene, right? If you work in construction, well, your hands are going to be bruised, no? You're going to have some scratches on your hands, right? It's par for the course. All right. Well, a Catholic nun, no Catholic, Catholic, a Catholic nun es monja, in Ohio celebrated her 105th birthday. You heard right, 105th birthday. And what did she do to celebrate her birthday? She went out and she decided to play a round of golf with the sisters from her convent. Now, wait a second, 105? And you're out there playing golf? Please, tell me your secret. Oh my God. And her name's Sister Renee Parman and her cohorts, how would they say, how would we translate cohorts? Her friends, sus compinches, is that what you would say? Cohorts? Sus séquitos, sus cohortes. Oh, you say cohortes, compañeros. I didn't know that. Well, the H we pronounce in English. And her cohorts from the Humility of Mary convent visited a golf course 2 days before her 105th birthday. And this was as per her request. Lo pidió ella. Because one of her favorite activities, one of her favorite pastimes is playing golf. That's right. She started working as a nun at the age of 18. But it wasn't until her 40s that she took up golf. Remember, we've looked at this phrasal verb before. Empezar una nueva actividad, to take up. And, well, ever since then, she's been hooked. She loves it. And she said, and I quote, I think it helps you to know yourself, a conocerte a ti mismo. I do, really, anyway. And competing with yourself mostly. O sea, compites contigo mismo, like I say here on the show with no name. She says, it's very helpful and it's a wonderful place to be. Very meditative. No, le pone en estado de meditación. And it's a beautiful place. The scenery, the grass, the flowers, it's quiet. Yeah, I guess that's true. Playing golf is nice because you're in nature. That's why I used to love snowboarding. I felt like, wow, here I am at the summit of a mountain looking at Mont Blanc. And I'm, getting a lot of adrenaline. So, as we call somebody like me, an adrenaline junkie, un junkie de la adrenalina. And so her sisters took her when she was 18 to play. And the only instruction she ever received was hit the ball, just swing, right? To swing is hacerlo eso, como en baseball, como el palo de golf. Remember, we don't call them sticks, we call them golf clubs. And now, since then, she has played every week. She even instructs her younger colleagues on how to play the game of golf. And she said it was great because, you ready for the icing on the cake? Are you ready? She's legally blind. So, 105 years old, a nun, legally blind, and she's out there swinging at golf balls. Unbelievable. So what's your excuse? When I hear extraordinary people like this, I'm like, and I'm not going to go to the gym because my finger hurts? Really? So amazing, these kind of people. And she says, and I quote, she says, my friends are kind enough to tell me where the ball is. Son lo suficientemente majos para decirme dónde está la pelota. And when I get there, they tell me how far the hole is. And then I choose the right club. But without them, I could not golf. So think about that. It adds another element. It's a trust exercise too. She's playing with her friends who are saying, okay, Miriam, or whatever, Renee, her name, the hole is about 20 meters away, and the ball is right there in front of you. Do you feel it? There you go. And she credits her longevity and her good health to golf. She says, I love to do it, and I think it's wonderful exercise. It's the one thing that kept me going as well as I have. So there you go, folks. It's par for the course. And again, the icing on the cake, La Guinda, she's legally blind. All right, amigos, we have got to go to a quick commercial break. I can't believe it, but we are halfway through today's show. We've got a lot of stuff to cover in the second half of today's show. So when we come back, we'll take a look at our homophones. We've got our Say What soundbite for the third time. We'll listen to some of our students in our question of the week. Plus, we've got our spelling bee and so much more up ahead. So if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Wow! Welcome back. Welcome back, my amigos. This is part 3 of today's show with No Name on Vaughn Radio. And if you're having fun, well, it's par for the course. Es lo que tiene esto. And remember to have fun with all my amigos here on Vaughn Radio. You've got Ale. That's right, Ale is up next with Speaking with Confidence. After that, you've got the Lunchtime Show with my buddy Rob Grams. Don't forget about Ruby's program. Yeah. You've also got Jules Linares and Let's Get Random. The Salad with Dave Boys. Kyle Miller's Drive Time. Chris Frank and Frankly Speaking. Richard Vaughn Live, the man himself. The man who started all of this. None of us would be here if it weren't for him. And you can learn English with him every single day here on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget about Jessica Fernandez and the Hour to Empower. The Pro Bow Show with Rob Grams. And right before today's show every day, you've got Fits and No Excuses. Kind of like our blind none, right? Excuses? She has none. None, ninguno, none. Monja. Okay, all right, my amigos. Welcome back to the second half of today's show. We're going to kick things off with today's Homophones on the Show with No Name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, my amigos. Welcome to our homophone section where we take a look at words that tend to be a little bit confusing, at least when it comes time to pronounce them. Maybe to write them isn't too confusing, but remember, we're doing much more than just reading and writing in English. We need to speak and understand. So the first word I just said like 20 times, and it's a game that you play with a club. You play it in the grass. Usually it's 18 holes, and you call it golf. Now, I don't want the Spanish pronunciation, obviously. I want the English one. If it's the same or not, you tell me. But the word is golf. También es el verbo jugar al golf. Okay? So as with many things in English, it can be verbified, convertido en un verbo. So that's your first word. I just said it. So if you were paying attention, you shouldn't have any problems. And the second one is a body of water. Okay? You call it golfo. And no, I don't mean player or playboy. No ese golfo. Como el Golfo de México. Or, bueno, the many other ones in the world. Also, we use it when we talk about a large gap or a large difference. So you would say abismo o brecha. Okay? So, yeah. And el Golfo Persa, right? There's another usage of that as well. So, those are your words. También se usa en el corriente del Golfo, right? Lo que cruza el Atlántico, esas corrientes. So it's not just used for bodies of water, but it also is used in many proper nouns, and it can also be abismo, brecha. También cima, si lo piensas, es igual, ¿no? En un glaciar, en a glacier, ¿no? Una cima, pues una brecha. Okay, so it's used in a figurative sense and also in the literal sense. What are those two words, and do they sound exactly the same or not? We'll check your answers in just a moment, but first I've got to give you the Say What soundbite for the third time. Everybody listen carefully. I have a feeling somebody's going to get it.
A Labor Department task force says it will crack down on sweatshops in New York's Chinatown, where employees work 90-hour weeks for as little as 75 cents an hour. A spokesman for the sweatshop owner said, quote, "That's all we can afford to pay. This is a sweatshop. We make sweat."
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughn.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. That's right, my amigos, Vaughntown. What an amazing initiative. And I'm not just saying it because I work for Vaughan Radio. I'm telling you because it has impressed me from before that. Again, the first time I laid eyes on the idea, I said, wow, whose brainchild was this? Yeah, brainchild, niño de cerebro. Yeah, well, that means idea. It was Richard Vaughan's brainchild, and it's still going strong today. If you want more information about Vaughntown or any of our initiatives, go on over to grupovaughn.com, or you can stop by any of our social media platforms. You can send us a direct message and get more information. If you're located in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, Zaragoza, Las Tablas, or Pozuelo, please feel free to stop by. We'd love to meet you. Tell us about your English needs, and I'm sure we can accommodate. All right, let's go on over to our chat room. We've got some participation over here. Born to Iron Man says Oakland is a hop, skip, and a jump away from San Francisco, just across the Bay Bridge, about 10 to 15 minutes away. Excellent, using it in context. And now, Born to Iron Man, you used it twice today. So the odds of you remembering it have just shot up. No acaba de dispararse, because you just used it twice. And I just read it twice because you wrote it twice. So the odds of your fellow students remembering it has gone up as well. So thanks for being that student. Let's see. Chris says, amazing. This nun, really lovely. Yeah, really. It makes you ponder. To ponder is to think. You know, it makes you ponder and say, how many of the things that I say every day are just excuses? If this woman's 105 years old, blind as a bat, and she still goes out there and not only plays golf, but she's teaching other people how to play and inspiring them. And she's socializing, she's getting fresh air, beats the hell out of being on social media. Remember, we looked at that yesterday. Beats it. Lo supera, right? Es mucho mejor. It beats the hell out of it es para darle énfasis, but you can say directamente, it beats being on social media. Doom scrolling. You know this one? Doom, well, to scroll is desplazar, I think you say, mover. No, the zombie action that everybody does, the endless scroll, right? And doom scrolling, doom es como la muerte. So you're like, end of the world, we're all gonna die. You know, this kind of, doom scrolling. It's a word that did not exist when I was a kid. Why? I lived and I was born in an analog world. And I miss that world so much. I miss it. Oh, man. I wish we could go back. I know it's too late, but at least in my own little world, I prefer the analog. Yeah, the things that aren't ones and zeros, the things that are like tangible, like a tree or a bush or even a golf course. However unnatural it may be, it's grass. It's green grass. You'll smell it. You get that petrichor smell, which is that smell that you get after it rains. Oh, yesterday it rained a little bit here in Madrid, and we were at the park with my daughter. No screens. See, I practice what I preach, and it started to rain, and my daughter said, "Oh, that smell, that," and I said, "That's called petrichor." I said, "We never knew what it was called when I was a kid, but it's that smell that there's nothing like it. It's like the smell of a fireplace, una chimenea. It does something to you. It's some kind of physiological and psychological change in your brain, something you'll never get from staring into the abyss, which is your screen, right? Oh, yeah, it'll do something to your brain, but not something positive. All right, let's see. Born to Iron Man said, yeah, there are some incredible people around us, and we don't even know. Ni siquiera lo sabemos. By the way, an 80-year-old woman has just finished the Ironman in Hawaii, and it's out of this world. See, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly, Born to Ironman. If an 80-year-old woman can do the Ironman race, what's your excuse, right? And if you do have an excuse, maybe it's just a cop-out. Do you remember this word? We looked at it recently. A cop-out. Una mala excusa. All right. And guys, when I say that, I'm speaking to myself as well. Like, what's my next excuse going to be? And then all I have to do is think of our friend, the nun, and say, shut your mouth, guy. Shut your mouth and do it. Just do it. I hate to quote Nike, speaking of sweatshops, but it is a really good slogan. Just do it. Don't talk about it. Just do it. All right, let's see. We've got Born to Iron Man participating in our homophones. He gives us the two correct words. No surprise there. He is a superstar. And he says they don't sound alike. All right. Chris Valrol gives us the two words, and she says they are not homophones. So I've got two students that I would bet anything, because I know that they know what they're talking about. They know their stuff. So let me say both words, and we can figure it out here. The first word, golf. Golf. Do you like to play golf? I usually golf, para usarlo como verbo. I usually golf on Sundays, or I usually play golf on Sundays. I have golf clubs and I have a golf ball. I usually play golf in the Gulf of Mexico. Again, I usually play golf in the Persian Gulf. They are not homophones. Excellent job, Born to Iron Man and Chris Valrol. Talk about superstar students. So the difference here, golf, golf. Abrimos, golf. Yo apenas abro. Golf. The Persian Gulf. And the other one, golf. No se abre mucho, pero bastante más que el la U de golf. So say this with me. We're going to play golf in the Gulf. We're going to play golf in the Gulf. All right. Excellent job. Excellent job. Chris Valrol says, doom scrolling. I love it when a concept can be summed up in one word. Yeah, doom is like, we're all going to die. Everything is doomed, right? Todo está la muerte, right? Doom scrolling. Hábito de leer malas noticias. Well, that's what Twitter, right? You open up Twitter, they're like, we're all going to die. You're poor, all of this. And you're like, it's addictive. I mean, they know it. Of course they know it. That's why they show it to you in the algorithm. Why do you think when you turn on Antena 3 or any of these Sexta, whatever, I don't watch TV, but why do you think when you turn that crap on, it's always like mal, peor, y más peor, y peor, y aún peor, You're like, okay, is it really? Or that's what sells. That's what gets people's attention. It doesn't get your attention when they say firefighters rescued Tommy the cat from Mrs. Jensen's tree the other day. He was stuck up there. Oh, isn't that nice? That's a beautiful story. No one cares. But if you're like, a nursing home was set ablaze. To set ablaze, somebody lit a fire in a nursing home and 75 elderly people were killed and burnt at the stake. That's when people start paying attention, sadly. And they know it, and they play with that. So doom scrolling, compulsively reading bad news. And she says, petrichor is the same word in Spanish. It's a beautiful word. Yeah, I think, though, we might spell it C-H-O-R, petrichor. It sounds like a word that comes from Latin, de Latin. Let me see. Oh, no, maybe it is petric. Mira, no sale aquí. Are you serious? Vamos a ver. We'll go to Google then if word reference. Word reference, you are weak if you don't have the word petrichor. Petrichor. Okay. Okay. No me sale en inglés. Vamos a ver si poniendo esa H. Y ¿por qué solo me lo... Okay. English. ¿Por qué me lo pones? I don't know why you're giving me search results in Spanish. I never want search results in Spanish. Okay. Petrichor, yeah, en inglés, o sea, la misma palabra, pero es chor, pero no se pronuncia como chor, se pronuncia exactamente igual. Petrichor. And I imagine because of that, Petra is rock, right? Petra, como piedra, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, it is not just a lovely word, but it's an amazing smell as well. All right, excellent job, amigos, but we've got to move on to our question of the week.
Question of the week.
All right, amigos, let's hear your thoughts, vuestros pensamientos, vuestra opinión on AI. Remember, the order is important. It's the opposite. I've heard a lot of people say IA. No, AI. All right, let's hear what Anix had to say.
Hey there, Anix here. Pros about AI. We can do some repetitive things using it. It can make our lives easier in that way because we can use it to do our boring tasks as well, to find information in a fastest way.
In a faster way, or the fastest way.
Even though it isn't 100% true all of the time.
Yeah, you got to be careful. It's not always accurate. And I can tell you that because I tried using it at first for the show, and I found that I had to always double check it, because a lot of times I was like, okay, that doesn't sound right. And it wasn't. So don't trust it.
But it is a help. And a con, same thing. We use it to do things in a fastest way, so we are getting a little bit lazy. Our brain avoids overthinking, so it uses the fastest way.
Yeah, that's a thing too. Analytical thinking. I mean, that is even more important than getting good grades, learning how to analyze and to think about something and process it. But sure, if the computer does it for us, it's like I say about smartphones. Smartphones are making us dumb.
And they are in some areas replacing people. Okay, guys, have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Excellent, Anix. Very balanced answer there. You know, you talked about the pros and the cons, and it is a double-edged sword, right? It can make your life easier planning a trip, usually with menial tasks. So what is the best way to see the north of Spain? Again, but it doesn't take the human out of it, because if you take the human out of it, then you're just blindly trusting your computer. And your computer, like we already know, isn't always right, is it? So we've got to always double check. But yes, it is taking people's jobs as well. So I know translators, but is it a substitute? I instantly know when something has been translated by AI. It doesn't sound natural. So it might be taking their jobs, but it's not doing it as well. Also, Disney recently, they received a lot of backlash. Backlash is negative attention because a billion-dollar company, they have billions of dollars, they're using AI in some of their social media posts. And you're like, you can't afford to pay a graphic designer? Really? Well, why don't you take away part of your CEO's bonus? Bob Chapek is making enough money as it is. So I believe that it is taking jobs, but to do them worse in many cases. So, and it's blatantly obvious it shouldn't be. And right now it is, but also they said, it's machine learning, so the thing is supposed to get smarter as it goes. We shall see. TBD, as we say, to be determined. All right, let's hear from Chris Valrol.
Morning, Show with No Namers. It's Chris Valrol. I'm gonna cut to the chase.
Excellent expression. I'm gonna cut to the chase. Voy al grano.
AI Pros. In my book, it's a great
In my book, En Cuanto a Mí, excellent, Chris.
tool if you're searching for information, because it can handle big data quickly, so you save time. I find several cons, at least potential ones, based, of course, on how you use it. Aside from all the misdeeds you can commit with it, scams and all that jazz, I heard it needs tons of energy, so it's not very sustainable. It could be dangerous, so to speak, for our abilities.
So to speak, como quien dice, por así decirlo. Wow, Chris, you sound native.
Because you don't need thinking anymore. And it could jeopardize some jobs.
Jeopardize, poner en peligro. Wow, impressive.
Professions. So I don't know. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Excellent observations. Anix and Chris Valrol, you're hitting the nail on the head. Sure, if you've got to look through a 50-page contract, good luck. You're going to be there for like days if you're really looking through it. But if you can get a hand, un poco de ayuda. Now, again, that doesn't mean you should blindly trust it, but if it's going to help you scour through that information or comb, hemos visto esta palabra mucho últimamente, peinar, buscar entre ello, well, maybe it can help you. So very important what Chris said there. It's about the application as well, the user. It's not just the software, so to speak. Chris, spoken like a totally native student there. Excellent job. Wow. What can I say except I am thoroughly impressed, completamente, totalmente impressed with the job you guys have done. Now, we're going to hear from Nuria, Durani, and Alfonso, but we've got to wait till after this commercial break. Yeah, we've got to hit a quick commercial break right now. But when we come back, we're going to take a look at today's Double Trouble. And is it a double trouble or is it a triple trouble? Let me check. Déjame ver. It's a triple. Ay, Dios. I know, I've been overdoing it lately. Me estoy pasando últimamente. It's a triple trouble When we come back, we'll also listen to our Say What soundbite for the fourth time. We'll listen to our question of the week participations. We've got Name That Movie, we've got jokes, famous birthdays, and so much more up ahead. So if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Say it with me in 3, 2, 1. Stick around. Hey amigos, welcome back. This is the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. Thanks for joining me day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and yes, decade after decade. It is an honor and a pleasure to teach you English every day here on Vaughn Radio. And you know what? I've got to say something. I can speak for all of us, or on behalf of all of us. Puedo hablar por todos. Why? I know everybody on Vaughn Radio, and I don't just know them. They're my friends. I mean, like, excellent friends, very close friends. Not all of them. Let's put it this way. All of them are my friends, and a handful of them, Rob, Andy, Kyle, Fitz, they're close friends. I would go as far as saying Rob and Kyle and Andy. Well, Rob and Kyle, they're my brother from another mother. And Andy is my sister from another mister. Did you know those? Well, now you do. All right, amigos, we're going to kick things off with a triple trouble. Why? Because I know you can handle it. So let's do it.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right. Welcome to our triple trouble here on the show with no name. Let's see what we've got for you today. All right. Había un infiltrado en la fábrica de alimentos de origen vegetal. Whoa. Hey, you got to use the same word 3 times. So, había un infiltrada o un infiltrado, whatever you want, en la fábrica de alimentos de origen vegetal. All right? Un infiltrado en la fábrica de alimentos de origen vegetal. You have to use the same word 3 times. I don't think it's that difficult, but we shall see. Veremos. All right, let me also give you the Say What soundbite. Here it is for the fourth And final time. Let's see if somebody can figure it out.
A Labor Department task force says it will crack down on sweatshops in New York's Chinatown, where employees work 90-hour weeks for as little as 75 cents an hour. A spokesman for the sweatshop owner said, quote, "That's all we can afford to pay. This is a sweatshop. We make sweat."
First things first, how you machines doing? You good?
Yeah, we're good.
Good. Let's take a picture. Quick question. ¿Cómo se dice emocionar en inglés?
To emotionate.
No. Think of Michael Jackson. Una pista de audio. It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark.
It's thriller.
That's right. So emocionar is to
Thrill.
Eso es. And this book is the shit will thrill you. It's thrilling.
Sí, señor. This book is the shit. El inglés que no sabías que sabías. 1000 nuevas palabras para tu colección. De la mano de Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender.
Now we're talking. Yeah, that's right. This book is the shit, available at Von Tienda and wherever fine books are sold. I don't know why I said that in a terror kind of way. Maybe because Halloween is right around the corner. We'll be taking a look at some stuff for Halloween, some movies and some music that have to do with Halloween in the coming week. So stay tuned. All right, let's see what we've got over here. Chris says, Laura, lovely Laura, and Jimena are my sisters from another mister. That's right. Oh, yeah. Definitely. In fact, I knew that already, but I love that you're using the idiomatic expression. All right, let's see what we've got here. Anybody taking a stab at our triple trouble? All right. Oh, okay. There's Chris. Chris says there was a plant in the plant-based food factory. She says, I don't have the triple. Well, what if I were to tell you that another way to say factory is plant? Get out of here. Well, do you remember when we had the blackout? I said it's a power plant. Las fábricas de electricidad, de energía. Well, there you go. Another way to say factory is a plant. Right? He works at a paper plant, una fábrica de papel. So, Chris, you just had to change the word factory for plant. You got the hard part. Excellent job. Wow. Planta, bueno, es como en español, ¿no? Él trabaja en una planta de alimentos. No. So, yes, we use that word too. So, there was a plant. Piensa, alguien que plantaron ahí, right? Alguien que metieron ahí. It does make sense. He was a plant, right? No es que era una. Well, he can also be a ficus or a cactus or something. But in this case, from the context, they put a plant there. Okay, there was a plant. He was their plant. Okay, su infiltrado. So there was a plant at the plant-based food plant. Excellent job, Chris Valrol. As I said, you got the hard part. You just had to change the word factory for plant. And yeah, we say plant-based. And you know what I say when people say plant-based? I say, give me my meat. I will never be a herbivore. I will always be a carnivore. I love meat too much. Yeah. And now it doesn't mean I overdo it. No es lo único que como. I eat vegetables and I eat a lot of different things, but do not try and take meat out of my diet. No way, Jose. And hey, I don't mean any disrespect to all you vegetarians or vegans, but hey, more plants for you and more meat for me. Doesn't it work out perfectly? So, había un infiltrado en la fábrica de alimentos de origen vegetal. There was a plant at the plant-based food plant. Excellent job. All right, we're going to hear from some other students about the implications of AI. Up next, we've got Nudia.
Howdy, amigos. What's good? This is
What's good? Me gusta. What's good? ¿Qué hay?
Nuria. Regarding this week's question, what are the pros and cons of AI? I have to say, firstly, that it's a tough topic to tackle, but
Yes, it is a tough topic to tackle. Y vaya trabalenguas.
I try to do my best. In my view, I believe that artificial intelligence can provide uncountable benefits,
Not incountable, sino uncountable.
but can also end the human race if it's used imprudently. I mean, on the one hand, AI plays an important role in, for instance, medicine, being highly accurate, faster, and leading to a reduction in mistakes that humans might make. Then, in this case, it will improve our health and our standard of living. On the other hand,
I love it. On the one hand, on the other hand, firstly, Nuria, qué bien hablas. Firstly, on the one hand, on the other hand, nos estás guiando, estás conectando las ideas. Excellent.
it will raise significant concerns about privacy, data security,
Privacy, yeah.
environmental issues,
Mhm.
potential job loss, and so on and so forth. So do the math, amigos. Take care. Thank you.
And so on and so forth, etc. Nuria, you really connect your thoughts beautifully. Excellent job. And as with all of you so far, I couldn't agree more. No podría estar más de acuerdo. Decimos lo mismo. I couldn't agree more. Or as Chris said, I see eye to eye with you. All right. Excellent, Nuria. What confidence. It's great. All right. Up next, we've got someone who's here every day, but not in the live show, but she listens it every day. She tells me she never misses an episode. So let's give our undivided attention to Durani.
Hi there, show with no namers. This is Tuania speaking. I've missed you guys.
We miss you
Wow,
too.
the topic this week is tricky, Alberto.
Yes, it's a tricky one. I asked the tricky questions.
Many people adore AI, many people are afraid of it, and others even hate it. I was thinking about that. Due to my job, I used to work in different fields with the latest developments in R&D and innovation.
R&D, I+D, research and development.
But AI is something that caught me off guard, and
it caught me off guard. Pillar desprevenida. Excellent.
I couldn't turn a blind eye.
To turn a blind eye, hacer la vista gorda. To turn a blind eye or to look the other way. Excellent, Durani.
To it. Suddenly everyone talk about AI, and nowadays most people use it for different things. I have to confess that since I tried, I realized that it's really useful. For instance, as a source of information to summarize or to excel.
Cuidado, no summarize.
Important points among a variety of information and so on. However, everyone should go through the information due to the fake news.
Go through it, repasarlo. Absolutely. Don't believe everything you read.
And another very important con, in my opinion, is the privacy and the dangers that come with it.
And many of you have already mentioned that. It's absolutely true. Okay, it's convenient, but at what cost? My privacy? No way then. I'll pass.
To make a long story short.
Muy bien. To make a long story short, resumiendo.
The way that I see it is that I'm not really stand up for artificial intelligence in all aspects of my life, but if I read between lines knowing that AI will be part of our lives, see to it we should make sure that we use it in our advantage.
That's it. Again, going back to it's the user who's the one who gives it the responsible use or irresponsible use. Great observation.
But responsibly. I mean, not at any cost, because it can't replace a person at least for now. Don't you reckon? Thanks for listening. See you. Bye bye.
Absolutely. Okay, you can learn English using AI, but wouldn't you rather have a teacher, a human, who understands what you're going through? Same thing with a doctor. A doctor, AI can give you an analysis, but don't you want a doctor to communicate it to you, to tell you, to answer your other questions? So again, there are certain things where I don't want the human out of the equation. No thanks. Okay, if it's to make me a coffee, no offense, Starbucks employees, but I don't go to Starbucks. I'm not going to pay €6 for a cup of coffee. I'm not an idiot. Sorry if you go to Starbucks, but maybe you're rich. Maybe you've got a lot of money. But I pay $6 for 2 weeks worth of coffee. You know what I mean? So, but I get it. To make my coffee, well, as long as it tastes good, there's no problem. Now, to diagnose me with cancer or some kind of horrible disease, I want a second opinion, even if it is a human. So excellent, guys. You are very observant, and exactly what I said before, the thing we don't want to lose, that human part, that analytical thinking, looking at a situation, thinking about it, trusting your gut too. That's something a computer doesn't have. Instinct, your gut feeling. So that, oh man, that has saved me in so many situations. All right, last but certainly not least, Alfonso.
Hi, Alberto. It's Alfonso from Ruby. About this week's question, I think artificial intelligence has great potential in healthcare to improve the study.
You're not the first person who said that. In healthcare, en la salud. Excellent.
Of diseases. On the other hand, many jobs could be lost.
Cuidado, me encanta el on the other hand, pero no jobs, sino más como una CH, jobs.
Just like what happened during the Industrial Revolution.
Industrial Revolution, exactly. It's a great parallel.
In the 18th century. I also think people will get lazier with their minds because they won't memorize anything.
Well, that's already happened. I mean, you're already, before AI, just your smartphones and Google have made us kind of not have to think. Oh, ¿dónde está? Well, I'll just follow the arrow. Okay, well, what if somebody tells you directions and you have to follow it and remember it? So we don't have to remember phone numbers. So we've already seen the dumbing down of humanity, right? And I mean, let's be honest. So it's not only AI, it's everything, the prelude, everything that has come before it.
And will depend on artificial intelligence for everything. It's part of human evolution, and we can't really go against it. See you, Alberto. Take care.
Excellent job, all of you. Anix, Chris Valrol, Nuria, Turani, and Alfonso. Wonderful job. All right, folks, it's time to move on, though, to Name That Movie. Name That Movie. Yes. All right, let's take a look over here. A divorcee falls for an over-the-hill cowboy who is struggling to breathe, who is struggling to maintain his romantically independent lifestyle. All right, por partes. A divorcee is, a ver cómo lo traducen aquí, divorcee, divorciado, somebody who is divorced. Makes sense, right? Divorcee, I think it's a French word because it has an accent on it. Y tiene dos es. So a divorcee falls for, se enamora de, no, cae, falls for an over-the-hill cowboy. Remember we looked at over the hill yesterday? Para el arrastre, you say? Que no es lo que era. An over-the-hill cowboy who is struggling, luchando, to maintain his romantically independent lifestyle. All right, let's look at the scene because we don't have much time. Guido, which is what it's it's not a very nice way to call an Italian American, but it's also a name. Okay. Have you seen Jersey Shore? Those guys are Guidos. Okay. So, but it's also a name. In this case, it's a name. Guido says, have you ever been outside Reno, Ms. Tabor? Reno's in Nevada. You say Reno, we say Reno. Rosalind says, well, once I walked to the edge of town, al borde del pueblo. Doesn't look like there's much out there. Parece que no hay mucho ahí fuera. And Gay, which is a name, not anymore, but Gaylord, in the movie Meet the Fockers, Meet the Parents, Gaylord Focker, right? Gaylord Focker. So Gay says, everything's there. Ahí es donde está todo. And Rosalind says, like what? And Gay says, the country. Ahora, ahí no dice el campo, sino todo el país. And Rosalind says, well, what do you do with yourself? ¿Y qué hace uno consigo mismo? And Gay says, just live, vivir. And Rosalind says, well, how does anyone just live? And Gay says, well, you start by going to sleep. You get up when you feel like it, cuando te apetezca. You scratch yourself, te rascas, te rascas. You fry yourself some eggs, te frías unos huevos. You see what kind of day it is. Throw stones at a can, tira unas piedras a una lata, whistle, silbar, like whatever you want. It's up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, our movie queen got it, Chris Valrol. The movie is Misfits. And a misfit is somebody who doesn't fit in. Piénsalo, no? So, inadaptado social, okay? It's also the name of a group, the Misfits, from back in the day. Well, this is the movie, The Misfits. It came out in 1961. It's written by Arthur Miller. You know Arthur Miller, The Crucible, and many other. And it stars Clark Gable, Marilyn Monroe, not Marilyn Monroe. We say Marilyn Monroe, and Montgomery Clift. Excellent job, Chris. In this one, we didn't only learn from the synopsis, we didn't only learn from the dialogue, but we also learned from the title. All right, folks, we've got to keep it moving along. It's time for famous birthday trivia.
Birthdays for you. Famous birthdays. Birthdays for me. Famous birthdays. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Oi, oi, oi. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays. Birthdays for her. Famous birthdays. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's our famous birthday trivia. The first person, I think you guys know him because he's the one who does Killing Me Softly with his song. Well, he doesn't sing that part. He does the one time, one time. So this guy is 1/3 of the Refugees. The Refugees, ooh la la la. It's the way that we rock and we do it again. Ooh la la la. With Lauryn Hill. Well, this guy is super famous. And it's not just from the Refugees, also because of his solo career. And he is a Haitian, somebody from Haiti. Haiti, we say Haiti, and the nationality is Haitian, rapper, producer, and actor. In fact, he was also in Shakira's The Hips Don't Lie. So he's worked with everybody in the business, but he was originally from the Refugees, or as they call them, the Fugees, the Fugees. Number 2, this person was a playwright and screenwriter. And, 1915, he was born today. He was married to Marilyn Monroe, but he was also in the movie, she was also in the movie, The Misfits, which was written by him. You mean the one we just looked at? Yeah. He also wrote The Crucible, the one about the Salem witch trials. Also, Death of a Salesman, A View from the Bridge, and many, many others. And last but not least, this Canadian actor, comedian, producer, and screenwriter was known for his deadpan delivery. Instead of overstating, he always understated. He was on Saturday Night Live, and he's been in many, many movies. He's also done voice acting in Family Guy and so much more. All right, let me give them to you because if not, we're going to run out of time. Number 1 is Wyclef Jean. Number 2, Arthur Miller. Number 3, Norm MacDonald. And there's Chris taking a stab at today's Say What soundbite. Well, today's Say What soundbite was Norm MacDonald. Y seguro, si buscas, dices, claro, este tío, Norm MacDonald. And he says, a Labor Department task force. So a task force es un cuerpo especial, ¿ok? De hecho, hay una serie ahora que se llama Task, que es muy buena y viene de eso. Task Force. So a Labor Department, Departamento de Trabajo, de Inspección de Trabajo, says it will crack down on sweatshops. Se va a poner en serio con los sweatshops in New York's Chinatown, where employees work 90-hour weeks for as little as 75 cents an hour. A spokesman, un portavoz, for the sweatshop owner said, quote, y cito, that's all we can afford to pay. This is a sweatshop. We make sweat. Here he is, birthday boy Norm MacDonald.
A Labor Department task force says it will crack down on sweatshops in New York's Chinatown, where employees work 90-hour weeks for as little as 75 cents an hour. A spokesman for the sweatshop owner said, quote, that's all we can afford to pay. This is a sweatshop. We make sweat.
All right, folks, excellent job. We're going to say goodbye with someone please call 911. Por favor, llamen al 112. And this is Wyclef Jean with Mary J. Blige. A beautiful song about falling in love.
Yo, what up?
Someone please call 911. She struck me through my heart. Excellent tune. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you in the next show. Ciao for now. Come on.
If Steph comes for me tonight, girl.